Well, good day. So, for today's video, we're gonna talk about one of the heavyweights of Christmas specials. That's right, my friends. I'm talking about a Charlie Brown Christmas. So, alright, let's go.
Yeah! So, we start off on the local skating pond, where we find the Peanuts gang, who are, well, I guess, obviously skating, and they're hanging out with all of their friends, they're joking and laughing. Everybody is having a grand old time. Well, except for Charlie Brown. He has the Christmas blues. He's just totally bummed out at Christmas time. And, like he says, he just doesn't understand the season. He does what everybody else does at this time of year, He buys presents for his friends and family, or Christmas cards. He buys decorations, he gets the place set up. He buys a whole lot of candy for himself because it's so tasty and he's weak. Oh, sorry, that's not Charlie Brown's hang-up, that's actually mine. Oh, delicious candy. But still, he buys all this stuff and he's still completely unfulfilled. And even still, he tries to do a whole bunch of things to have a whole lot of fun with his friends, but he can't seem to shake these seasonal blues. What is a young man to do? Well, talk to his unlicensed psychiatrist, of course. For a mere 5 cents, all of his troubles will melt away. Or his psychologist, Lucy, will just give Charlie Brown a whole bunch of psychological babble about nothing, mostly. But she actually does give a little bit of solid advice. Get more involved in Christmas. Like, if you marinate yourself in Christmas, you just might soak up the Christmas spirit, right? Even though that seems like what he was kind of doing previously and it wasn't working. But I ain't no seismicologist, so what do I know? Her idea is actually something Charlie Brown hasn't done yet, so it's gotta be pretty good, which is being the director of the Christmas play. The play which has every other role fulfilled except for the director, which usually is the first role to be filled up, hey? But it is a very amateur play, so I guess, it is what it is. But on his way to the play, he is surrounded by more things that bum him out. Mainly, consumerism. His dog, Snoopy, has entered a lights and display contest so he can win a big prize. And thusly, he is getting his doghouse completely decorated. Also, his sister, Sally, is wanting help to write a wish list letter to Santa Claus. A very long wish list to Santa Claus. Which, again, it kind of bums Charlie out even more, Everybody just wants. But, I guess to be fair to Sally, she is a kid, and that's kind of what kids do at Christmas, right? Well, maybe not a 12-page essay of what they want, but still. Meanwhile, at the rehearsals, or, sorry, should I say, at the dance party jamboree, so a band consisting of Schroeder, Snoopy, and Pigpen are cranking out some fantastic jams, while Sherman, Frida, Linus, these two twins, whoever they are, Patty, Violet, and the other kids, are doing interpretive dance to what a dance is, if that makes sense. As fun as it is, there is no more time for dancing because director Charlie Brown is in the house. Which, of course, instantly, there is a deep concern from everybody. As they all know from past experience, if Charlie Brown is involved in something somehow, that something is going to fall apart pretty quick. So, inevitably, everybody ignores Charlie Brown and goes back to the jazz mosh pit. But Charlie Brown needs Christmas involvement, so he tries to force the rehearsals along. Right? There needs to be some sense of control going on here. And even with some small progress happening, even if it's just getting the script to the cast, as important that is, still, it's like herding stray cats. Only so successful. So, I don't think this is really gonna fill Charlie Brown with the Christmas spirit, It sounds like things are gonna get a whole lot worse. But Chuck and Lucy decide the best thing to do to set the Christmas mood for the rehearsals is to get a Christmas tree. So Charlie and Linus go to the Christmas tree lot to find the best slab of wood, which is actually harder to do than you'd think it would be, because all of these trees are these fake aluminum tree types. Polka dot trees, plaid trees, pink trees, purple trees. Not a whole lot of Christmas authenticity, yeah. Or is there? And indeed, there is! I guess the only actual real tree in the entire lot is this small little tree that looks like it's on life support, but Charlie Brown thinks that it's perfect! Even with Linus kind of objecting to it. You know, like, it might make everyone at the play pretty upset of how sickly this tree is. Regardless, Charlie Brown purchases the thing. But, well, as prophesized, everybody hates this frickin' tree! They hate it so much that they completely lose it! And like, holy crap! Do they ever lean into Charlie Brown because of this tree? Just one attack after another from everybody, calling Charlie Brown stupid and hopeless and pathetic and everything else, all because of this horribly looking tree. Like, jeez, he doesn't even end there. They all get up and laugh at him and walk away. Like, oh my god. Man, kids really are horrible, eh? Of course, with all of that happening, you know, Charlie Brown is now in a deeper depression. Even when he tries to do something good and wholesome, it completely fails. At this point, he has the epiphany that he basically has no idea what Christmas is about. And maybe that's why he's failing at it. So Linus, being the mensch that he is, lets Charlie Brown in on the meaning of what Christmas is all about, where he recounts when angels told the shepherds in ancient times to go into town and to meet the newborn king. 'Tis Christ the Lord, and on earth peace and goodwill to men. Linus said it a lot more fantastically than I did, you know, so you might not get the same vibe. However, Charlie Brown absolutely got the vibe. Linus's speech absolutely lifts Charlie Brown's spirit. You know, like the missing piece of the puzzle finally clicked into place. And that's what was missing at his Christmas. That's why he was so bummed out. He didn't understand the heart of the season. So caught up was he with buying presents, buying decorations, buying all of that tasty, tasty candy that is just so good. Oh my god, I need some more. So now he is filled with the Christmas spirit. So he decides to take the tree home and decorate it. But oh my god, this tree, eh? Just trying to hang on for one more Christmas. So when Charlie Brown puts one of Snoopy's prize-winning decorations on the tree, it completely folds in half. Thinking that he killed the tree, Charlie Brown is back to being bummed out and he decides to go to bed. But all of his friends have followed him from the auditorium and they decide to do something nice for Charlie Brown, you know, and decorate this tree properly. Seeing as they all, you know, feel a bit guilty for being jerks to him, it's the least they can do. And this must be a magical tree, because now, instead of only having 6 pine needles attached to it, it is a fully formed tree. As full and bushy as you can get. Which, man oh man, there is no way that tree is gonna wind up looking like that. But I guess that is the Christmas magic. So the Christmas spirit is restored. Hooray! And with that, that is the end of this Peanutty Tale.
Hey, yes! Man, like what a freaking fantastic Christmas special! Ah! Is it truly Christmas if you did not watch it this year? For it is a Christmas tradition! And it's a pretty awesome one, right? Like, it's a story about how Christmas is more than just buying presents. Whether you celebrate Christmas religiously or not, you know, Christmas is about a whole lot more, right? It's either about the birth of the newborn king, and it's all about being around family and friends and just kind of connecting with everybody. It's a time for peace and love. And I can totally dig it, right? Like, let's say with my family, you know, there was a point when we all became adults and we can all buy our own stuff. We decided that we didn't need to buy anybody else gifts. Unless you were one of the younger kids, then yeah, sure, you know, Santa is still on the way. But for us, there was family and friends and eggnog and rum. We still had a pretty awesome time at Christmas. And, not having that pressure of going to a packed mall to find something for someone really did make the whole season bright. So I can dig Charlie Brown's kind of hang-ups on the season. Also, when I was younger watching this Christmas special, when they were talking about aluminum Christmas trees, I thought that they actually were the trees that were depicted in this special. An actual sheet of aluminum wrapped to look like a Christmas tree. Aluminum trees weren't the thing anymore when I was a youngin'. Turns out aluminum Christmas trees were these things. And with this Christmas special kind of making fun of them, the popularity of these trees kind of went away. So chalk up one win for Charlie Brown, I guess, eh? But also, I was able to purchase a Charlie Brown Christmas tree along with a Christmas tree ornament of Charlie Brown holding a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Putting that all together, it was kind of like Inception, right? Multiple layers of Christmas tree, or I guess kind of like the Matrix, So the irony really wasn't lost on me that the Christmas special is all about anti-consumerism, and yet here we are buying things that were depicted in this anti-consumerism Christmas special. 'Tis the way it goes, I suppose. But this Christmas special did give us the gift of a fantastic Christmas album. Christmas jazz is a thing of beauty. And the really awesome thing about the special is that it did get a lot of kids to start listening to jazz, potentially for the first time in their life. Which is similar to Bugs Bunny to get children to listen to classical music, Charlie Brown is getting kids listening to jazz, which is fantastic. So yes, if you haven't seen this thing, I don't know how you couldn't because it's been around for decades. But still, if you haven't, maybe you should check it out. And with that, we do have a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes kind of things about Charlie Brown, about the Christmas special, how it came to be, and all that kind of stuff going on over here.
So yes indeed, hey? Charlie Brown Christmas! So great indeed. But how did this legendary Christmas special come to be? Well, for that, we're gonna have to go back to the very beginning. And with that, we start off with legendary cartoonist Charles Schulz. He created a brand new comic strip called Peanuts, which debuted October 2nd of 1950, which featured the main character, the lovable loser, Charlie Brown. Eventually, we would meet all of his family and friends, well, his family that weren't adults, I guess, and this strip would become incredibly famous. Worldwide success! This led eventually to Charlie Brown and his friends making their first cartoon appearance, which happened in a series of commercials for Ford. Those commercials ran from 1959 to 1962, and these cartoons were animated by Bill Melendez. In all these cartoons, we did see all of Charlie Brown's friends, well, at least at the time that it was made. So for the time of this featured Christmas special, every character already debuted in cartoon form. But seeing Charlie Brown and his friends being animated in any capacity, even if it's just for commercials, man, that was super awesome! A comic strip coming to life! And this led to Charlie Brown's next project, a documentary featuring Charles Schulz called A Boy Named Charlie Brown, which was being created in 1963. It was produced by Lee Mendelson, and he brought Bill Melendez back into the fold for the animated segments of this documentary. Of course, any documentary needs some fantastic music to it, so Mendelson and Melendez were looking at none other than jazz musician Dave Brubeck. But sadly, he wasn't available, and neither were a couple of other choices that they wanted. But most of those musicians did suggest to Mendelson to use Vince Guaraldi, especially considering that Vince just won a Grammy for his song Cast Your Fate to the Wind, and, well, he's pretty awesome as is, So the two got together and Vince agreed to do the score for the documentary. So everything was set! Unfortunately, nobody wanted to have anything to do with this documentary. It was shown at the Greater San Francisco Advertising Club in 1964, but no sponsor wanted to pick it up. Nor did any TV station or anything else like that. But some good did still come out of that abandoned documentary. Portions of this documentary were used in another documentary called Charlie Brown and Charles Schulz, which debuted in 1969, and the name A Boy Named Charlie Brown was used for the 1969 Charlie Brown animated movie. And probably most importantly, it did produce a new album for Vince Guaraldi in 1964 called Jazz Impressions of a Boy Named Charlie Brown, which featured the now legendary theme song for Charlie Brown and Peanuts called Linus and Lucy. But even with some supposed setbacks, there were brighter days ahead. So Lee Mendelsohn got a call from the McCann Erickson Agency in New York about potential Peanuts cartoons. The agent at the agency, John Allen, did actually see the documentary A Boy Named Charlie Brown and was pretty impressed. He was actually asking Mendelsohn on behalf of Coca-Cola to sponsor a Christmas special featuring Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang. Because at this time, man, Christmas specials were starting to become all the rage. Especially with the recent success of other Christmas specials like Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol in 1962 and the absolutely legendary smash hit Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in 1964. So the question at this point was, who's gonna be in the next Christmas special? And as Coca-Cola figured, it should be Charlie Brown. Heck, Charlie Brown and his friends were even featured on Time magazine in 1965, so like, how much bigger could you get? So when Allen asked Mendelsohn if a Charlie Brown Christmas special was in the works, Mendelsohn lied and said, yeah, sure, man, of course we're working on one. Why wouldn't we, He figured selling this Christmas special would help sell the documentary he made earlier to Coke. So, he just kind of went with whatever they said. So it was agreed that Mendelsohn would present the Christmas script to Coca-Cola in 4 days' time, and they would go from there. Oh boy, so now Lee Mendelsohn was kind of behind the 8 ball, right? Clearly they haven't been working on a Charlie Brown Christmas special, so they gotta get working on it pretty quick. So he called up Charles Schulz and said, so yeah, hey, I sold a Charlie Brown Christmas special to Coca-Cola and we basically have 4 days to conceive it and to write it, hey? But to which they did! Coca-Cola was pretty happy with the basic outline of the special, and everyone got to work on it very quickly, because they were only given 6 months to finish the script, animate it, produce it, and send it out. So the quartet of Schulz, Mendelsohn, Melendez, and Guaraldi got to work, and things were going great! Well, great on the creative team's end, but not so much with Coca-Cola, the sponsor, and CBS, the network which would be broadcasting the thing. After seeing an early screening, they hated absolutely every single thing about the special, and I mean everything, which is such a Charlie Brown thing to have happen to a Charlie Brown project, really, right? So, for one, it was anti-commercialization, which, it's Christmas time. Everyone buys things at this time of year, right? And most importantly, we're advertisers. It's literally our job to sell stuff to the public. What the hell do you mean, anti-commercialization? Hey! Number 2, the pace of the show was incredibly slow and there was no action. This is pretty much the exact opposite of cartoons out there at the time. Cartoons have that quick biff bam boom non-stop action kind of a pace to it. This thing is incredibly slow in comparison. Number 3, the music. Much like the pace of other cartoons, the music also has a much faster pace to it. And for this music, it's a much slower downbeat pace in comparison. And not only that, but jazz? Kids want boppy, bubblegum, rock and roll music in their cartoons, Not jazz, jeez. Number 4 would be the message. The anti-consumerism message was bad enough for them, but with them focusing on things like the seasonal blues, that's crazy, man. It's Christmas. This is the most happy time of year, right? Also, they were not happy with the biblical messaging. Kids' cartoons should not have politics or religion in it, It's just straight up goofy kind of fun. Especially when they drop a reference to Solomon and Nebuchadnezzar, in a kid's cartoon. Most kids would be like, Nebuchadnezzar who? Even Linus's speech at the end, which became quite legendary, was taken from Luke chapter 2, verses 8 to 14. There was much debate as to if that should have stayed in, but Charles Schulz fought for it, and in it stayed. The 5th thing they didn't like was there was no laugh track. Laugh tracks were pretty big in cartoons in the 1960s. You know, you gotta keep the laughs rolling, even if kids missed the joke. Again, Charles Schulz was like, you know what, we're not gonna tell kids when to laugh, they're gonna laugh when they want to. And number 6, the voice actors. So the creative team did not want to use professional Hollywood voice actors for this special. They wanted to use more regular children. Some of them did have some professional experience, you know, on some commercials here and there, but no big time A-lister stuff. Heck! Some of them couldn't even read yet. The voice actor for Sally, Kathy Steinberg, was only 6 years old when she was recording lines. They had to recite the line to her so she could repeat them during the recording, which is why her dialogue sounds so choppy in this special. They took the best takes from all of them and kind of spliced them together, which is also why I sound choppy when I do things on my channel here, you know? If it worked for them, it works for me. But even with all of these objections from the sponsor and the network, it was much too late to do anything to stop it. CBS actually spent a decent amount of money advertising the special, pointing to the day it was going to be released, and the special itself was completed 10 days before it was to be broadcast. So even at that point, they could not go back and make any changes to it because there was just no time. And with no time for anyone to back out, the creative team, with everything against them, were all starting to feel bummed out. You know, like they felt like a bunch of preemptive failures. Maybe everybody else was right and maybe this is gonna suck. Maybe we killed Charlie Brown with this. But with all of this against them, they were all wrong. A Charlie Brown Christmas, with all of its supposed flaws, was a massive success. An estimated 15.5 million TV sets had it on. It was praised by everyone, by critics, by the general audience, and this special even wound up winning 2 awards, an Emmy Award and a Peabody Award. With accepting these awards, Charles Schulz even stated, "Charlie Brown is not used to winning, so we thank you." With the intense success of this, CBS ordered 4 more Charlie Brown specials, not Christmas specials, just any Charlie Brown special to be had, involving baseball or Halloween or whatever. And most importantly, culturally for this time, the floodgates opened for more Christmas specials from anybody. From the Grinch to He-Man to Garfield, everybody wanted a Christmas special. And not only that, but this special provided a smash hit soundtrack. For most people, it's not Christmas until they hear Charlie Brown Christmas music playing. And for a quick little fun fact, the opening sequence of the cartoon where we see the kids skating on the pond, originally it was just slow jazz music with no lyrics. But in order to appease the network and Coca-Cola, lyrics were added to the song, which eventually became a surprise Christmas hit song, "Christmas Time Is Here." This special was so successful that it would be rebroadcast every single year after this, with small minor changes happening hither and thither, like sound effects being added somewhere, animation being slightly changed, and any reference to Coca-Cola sponsorship being removed. Also with that, this Christmas special was given even more life in The Theater. A Charlie Brown Christmas Live first debuted in 2013, which is an annual success which is featured in multiple cities around the world. And of course, there was a lot more Charlie Brown Christmas content, either in other Christmas specials or in some of his Charlie Brown TV shows. So, you know, that was kind of a marathon of information, but it's pretty fantastic. So now I will go and take a quick nap. So yeah. So with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, 215 Comics. And currently, I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density. And recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastomorph, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel and some links at the end of the video. Yeah! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so. Or anything else, you know, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.